Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? We're going to listen to a old recording from Michael from around the world. Yeah, this is from counciloftime.com. This was April 13th, 2016. So that's over 5 years ago, correct? So we're going to listen to a pre-recording from 5 years ago. And I want you to pay attention and ask yourself, is this what's happening right this minute? Okay? And I want you to key in on a couple different things. There's a lot going on in it, but think about two things. We're just going to talk about a couple coincidences. One of them I want to talk about is the word dirty, clean and dirty. And one of the ways that the Nazis were so easily able to get their citizens to put other people, citizens, on trains is because they told them a different type of person, a different class, a different color, a different religion, just a group of people were dirty. Okay, so key in on the word dirty. And the other thing is that the last couple days now, there has been a new social platform that has hit the public. And I believe it's called Trust.com or Trust Social or something.
I made a mistake. It's Truth.
Trust. It's called Trust.
Truth.
Right? So I want you to also, on this recording, key in on the word trust. So we got two things we're going to do. We're going to key on and listen to this from 5 years ago. We're going to key on the word trust and the word dirty. So here we go. Let's see what happens.
So to get rid of plant being green, you don't want it to reflect green back anymore. So what do? You come up with an aerosol, chemical concoction that degrades over the course of time so you won't kill yourself with it. And you spray it over every type of vegetation. Now it looks brown and nobody wants it. You go harvest it, you go put it up. It still has chlorophyll, they just couldn't see it. So that's very deceptive, isn't it? That very deceptive? I'm trying to tell you something that's real because you're going to hear more and more stories about viruses and things of that nature. All this, that, and the other. Let me tell you something about a virus. I'll be careful. I'll be very careful. But if a disease broke out and you didn't believe it, because most people are not going to believe that a true virus breaks out unless it causes massive death, right? Unless you get someone close to you who is infected. Then you'll believe it. All of a sudden, when it hits your front door, you believe it. So they come at some weird type of virus. But listen, they need a virus that nobody with the technology that exists in the world has capability of detecting, right? They can't have you out there with the ability and the know-how to detect a virus, even if you're an ex-employee. So here it goes. When they get rid of all the employees that they ever had, some new type disease springs up. A new type that nobody who has been laid off or has been fired or who retired knows how to detect. Some isolated virus from nowhere. So this thing pops up, they say, ooh, what can we do with this? So you begin to hear about stories of people having these symptoms, by the way, because nobody can detect it. There's no way to tell if you have it in the first place. And they're not going to tell you what markers are looking for. It could be non-existent, period. It could be absolutely fake. And the symptoms can come from something as simple as an irritant in the atmosphere. Anything. People don't know that. More and more people begin to show up at the hospital. Now people are beginning to get a little scared because you connected with something like multiple sclerosis. And you're telling people that your muscles and everything else are going to start jerking, your neurological systems are going to start breaking down, which, by the way, sounds more like a nerve agent. Anyway, so you tell these people this, and then you come out with magic words. After the CDC informs the public of safety measures, you begin to report isolated cases. Because remember, it didn't work so well with Ebola, did it? Too many people had too much knowledge about Ebola. So it would never make an effective ghost agent, is what they called it. You wouldn't be a good ghost agent. A ghost agent is something nobody has the premise for to actually detect, defend against. In other words, you need a virus that you can name your own symptoms. And so people begin to report to the hospital with common things, but they call it something else. All of a sudden they come out with the magic words. For the sake of national security, we need to vaccinate. We have to vaccinate. People start getting the vaccination, and it's not about what you think it is either. Vaccination, if you get the vaccination, fine, you go back and do what you have to do. If you don't get the vaccination, well now, because the virus is too tough, quarantine procedures go into effect for you. And you have to make a choice. Either get the vaccination or stay away from the rest of the populace. Those who get the vaccination are now compliant. They're also empowered to feel that they can do more, and they begin to trust the system. Listen, this is what it's all about. They begin to trust the system again. Do you know what's happening right now in politics? How do you make the people trust the system again? How do you do that? You have to give them another Reagan era. Uh-oh, see? Jesse says the vaccination for Zika is being mass-produced now and will be ready in September. We're going somewhere with this. Anyway, for a control mechanism, you would do this. But people who get the vaccination, nothing horrific happens to them. Guess what? They're empowered with a new sense of trust to the ones who gave the vaccination. And because it's connected to the government, they're going to look at all the other people who wouldn't take the vaccination as, number one, a threat to their way of life, a threat to the nation, and non-compliant individuals. And that the people would begin to call for, hey, do something with those people. These are the same people who have messed up the United States. Folks, I'm telling you, they're going to put the blame on the innocent folks. Did you hear what I just said? If you didn't, replay this 11 times so you can get it in your heads. If they come out with a forced vaccination, those who comply will have a newfound sense of trust towards the ones who gave them the vaccination. Number one, they begin to deplete this idea that somehow vaccinations will destroy you and kill you, and there's some plot behind it. So they will psychologically take that away. The vaccination could be absolutely nothing. It could be another agent to cancel the agent they pumped into the atmosphere. All right? So the people have this newfound sense of trust, and those who won't get a vaccination, it is the people who will look upon them, and they'll say, these folks are non-compliant, and they're going to infect us. And because you will consider, those who get the vaccination will consider themselves clean, and that's all you have to do with people. Listen to me. With the mind of people, all you have to do to take control of a populace of people is make half of them clean, the other half dirty. But you have to make the people feel that they're clean. How do you do that? Vaccinations, or to make them feel like they have been cleansed of something deadly. So now they look at the people who have not been cleansed as dirty. They do it themselves. Then the people will begin to call for those people to be done away with. It will not be the government. The government, or whoever's in control, they do the first step. The people do the rest. The same thing is happening in front of your face with politics. It's the beginning of a cycle that they did back in the 80s. They did the same thing. Do you know what happened back in the 80s? People had the same mindset back then they have now. They do. That same mindset that they have right now. And so it took a messenger, so to speak, to regain trust of the nation, but it took somebody, took a very different type person. Nobody trusted the establishment, folks. They didn't. Listen, the same thing has happened again. Happened again. On two fronts, it's happening. The only difference between now and the Reagan era, and this time, is that the people have become wise. You see, we have access to information. We do. I do believe that they're working this so, it's incredibly efficient. That's all I can tell you. It's very efficient. And there are deep layers of lies out there that are steering, even when you think you have found a truth, it too is a lie. It too is a lie. I mean, you have to think about it. When it comes to a lot of things, the entire truth that can affect the plan